Gardner-Webb head coach Cris Reisert, first season with the school will get underway this week when they take on Wofford at home. So, Coach, thoughts about starting on Thursday night and just getting this 2024 season going?
Excited. That's about it. Excited, ready to go. Our guys have worked hard since we got here all winter, all spring, all summer. Anxious to see them with the opportunity to go compete against somebody different colored jerseys and different colored helmets.
What can you tell us about Wofford? What have you seen on them? I guess the second part of that said this part of the year with the transfer portal and things, nobody knows anything about teams, but what
Yeah.
have you been able to deduce what you expect from them?
Yeah, I think they're a little unique in that regard where they do have a lot of returning starters. They'll return 16 or 17 guys and that have played a whole lot of football for them. They ended last year on a high note, beat Furman. I think at that point was the top 5 team in the country and did that playing really sound football and playing football that was based around, I think, accountability and just being in the right place at the right time and making plays. And so I think they're certainly a formidable foe and one that we're going to have to play really well to put our best foot forward to give us an opportunity to win the game.
Let's take that the opposite way. It's your first year. You've got a lot of new players. They don't know a lot about you. So does that work in your advantage?
I think so in a small regard. I think the one thing that we have is a little bit more surprise in terms of our personnel and in terms of what we're going to do from an offensive, defensive, special teams perspective. I'm sure they'll have some things up their sleeves as well, which is football. But I think we have the element of a little bit of surprise on our side, which we're not angry about.
And you're one of just 3 teams in the association not playing an FBS opponent this week to start off the season. Now next 2 weeks you get it. But talk about maybe the schedule is what it is, but getting to play, opening up against a like opponent at home too.
I love it. I think it's a really cool opportunity. For us, it's going to be eye opening to see kind of where we're at. It's a good football team, a team that we're going to have to play really well to win against. And I'm anxious to see how we compete. I'm anxious to see how we don't flinch in the face of adversity. I'm anxious to see guys make some plays and step up in big moments. And I think we're going to learn a lot about ourselves in week 1. And whatever we learn, we'll be able to really continue to improve going into the next week.
So we talked to you about 6 weeks ago during the preseason, the media day. What have you learned about your team and this group of guys since you got to fall camp?
I did not know this, but I think it's a hungry football team. It's a team that wants to be great. They're willing to pay the price. They really have. And I think as a coach, that's one of the things really you can only ask for is you got guys that are bought in, they're invested in this process, they're invested in the preparation, they're invested in the team building and the brotherhood that goes with being a really good and trustworthy football team. They've been accountable at every turn. And so just pleased with the group. I don't know that I'm surprised by any of it, but I'm optimistic that a lot of the things they're doing off the field, a lot of the little processes that they've really taken to heart on the field, I think it's going to reap dividends this season for us.
How long does it or should it take a team to come together? Like you've had the camp. Now you're going to have your first game. I would say no coach would probably say you're 100% ready, but is it the practice? Is it a game? Is it 2 games? Is it halfway through the season? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll let you know at the end of the year. I think that's probably the safest answer. I mean, realistically, right? We have of the 110 guys, we got 70 newcomers, and so we return about 40 bodies from Gardner-Webb football in the past. And so we are relatively a brand new football team. And so it'll be a case study in the element of how long does it take to be able to build a consistent product. Hopefully it's not nearly as long as it may have been once thought. And I'm anxious to prove that I think it will come together very quickly. But that's one of those things that you don't quite know until it really starts to kind of come together. And I'm hopeful that we'll start to see some of those results soon.
And I asked some of their coaches they're playing on Thursday, just sort of about that atmosphere. You get to do it at home, and then you do go on the road for 3 games after that. But I know it's your first game as coach. What do you sort of expect that home atmosphere to be like?
Oh, I think it's going to be rocking. I mean, you had a Labor Day weekend, so you could play in the weekend or you could play on a Thursday night before everybody goes home. And our administration, I thought, was really thoughtful about that. We were super intentional because we understand how vital it is to get a full crowd and into pack Spangler Stadium, and just the home field advantage that that can potentially bring. And so I think it's a university that's eager. I think we're all excited for week one. I think everybody's equally anxious to see kind of where we're at, right? With all these new faces and all these new guys and new coaches, and there's just a lot that's left to be known, and I love that, and I think that our fans are going to be really excited come week one.
Final question, we'll let you go without giving away any secrets. What do you think the key matchup is? Is it offensive line versus defensive line, pass defense, rush offense? Where do you think the key but in this matchup is this week?
Football's not that complicated in my opinion. It's about turnover margin. You got to own it. You got to take it away, and then you got to be able to control the line of scrimmages on both sides of the ball. And so I think the team that does that the best is going to put themselves in the best position to win. And the third thing I'd say is you need to have some guys that make plays and outside of the confines of a play call, and where it's not supposed to work, but somebody makes an extraordinary football play and makes it come to life. Those are the three things I think you look for, specifically in a week one. And we certainly all know in a week one, you got to play clean, right? A lot of teams lose it and don't win it. And so got to be mindful of that.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Just best of luck this week, and then we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.